The past is like a giant puzzle, and we're still missing a few pieces. Maybe we'll never find them all. Some of the smartest people on Earth have studied the artifacts you're about to see, and even they couldn't crack every mystery. But that's what makes this journey so fascinating. So buckle up and get ready. We're diving into some of history's most mind-blowing unsolved stories. We're kicking off our journey in Ireland, where the mysterious Ogham stones have kept historians and linguists guessing for centuries. Scattered across rolling green fields and ancient ruins, these stones are etched with a strange script that's believed to be one of the earliest forms of written Gaelic. Some people call it the Celtic tree alphabet, and it dates all the way back to the 4th century. Archaeologists have uncovered around 400 of these stones so far, about 360 in Ireland, with the rest found in Scotland, Wales, and the Isle of Man. Most are thought to be memorial stones or ancient boundary markers. While a few inscriptions can be partially translated by experts familiar with Old Gaelic, many remain a total mystery. One of the most intriguing stones carries a chilling dedication: "He who was born of the raven." It's mysterious, poetic, and just a little bit eerie. Another Ogham stone is said to be dedicated to the 3 sons of the Bald One, proof that ancient inscriptions could be just as mysterious and oddly specific as they sound. The name tree alphabet comes from the fact that each letter was inspired by and even named after trees. Think willow, alder, and birch instead of A, B, and C. And to make things trickier, the language was written in curves rather than straight lines, adding to the puzzle. Jump ahead to 2014, when metal detectorist David Blakely stumbled upon the Walled Newton hoard near Yorkshire, England, a jaw-dropping find of 1,857 Roman coins buried in a simple pottery jar. Dating back to around the 4th century, it's the largest Roman coin stash ever found in northern England. These coins, mostly silver denarii, offer a rare glimpse into Roman trade, wealth, and everyday life nearly 1,700 years ago. After its discovery, the Walled Newton hoard was officially declared treasure and later secured by the Yorkshire Museum, thanks to a massive fundraising effort that brought in over £44,000 from supporters all around the world. It was a true community win, a reminder of how history can unite people across borders and generations. Since June 1st, 2017, the hoard has been proudly displayed to the public, giving visitors to the York Roman Festival a rare glimpse into Yorkshire's Roman-era wealth and daily life. But now, we're traveling even further back in time, to the ancient city of Hattusa, the powerful capital of the Hittite Empire in what's now Turkey. Here stands the awe-inspiring Lion Gate, built in the early 14th century BCE. Towering stone lions guard the entrance, their fierce expressions carved with incredible detail. More than just decoration, these lions were believed to protect the city from evil spirits, a bold mix of art, power, and ancient superstition that still commands respect today. What really makes the Lion Gate of Hattusa stand out is its incredible craftsmanship. Every detail of those massive lions was carved with precision, from their fierce eyes to their powerful jaws, using a technique so advanced that the stones fit together perfectly without mortar or gaps. It's a stunning example of how the Hittites blended engineering genius with artistic flair. The gate was part of Hattusa's impressive fortifications, showcasing both the city's strength and its sense of style. In fact, it shares similarities with the famous Lion Gate of Mycenae in Greece, proving that great civilizations often thought alike when it came to mixing power and symbolism. Although time has worn away parts of the structure, especially one of the lions, careful restoration has brought much of its glory back to life. The Lion Gate remains a timeless symbol of protection, pride, and the artistic brilliance of the Hittite Empire. The combination lockbox credited to Muhammad ibn Hamid al-Din al-Isfahani from the late 12th century is a true masterpiece of art and innovation. Made in what's now Iran, either in Khorasan or Isfahan, this stunning piece shows just how advanced Islamic craftsmanship was during the Seljuk period. The brass box, about the size of a small jewelry case, is richly inlaid with silver, gold, and copper, forming intricate interlaced designs and a delicate inscription marking its creation. But what really sets it apart is its genius engineering, a built-in combination lock with 4 dials that create an 8-digit code. That's right, a 12th century version of a high-tech security system. Adding to its charm are 3 gilded brass figures attached to the front, possibly meant to act as symbolic guardians of whatever treasures were inside. Elegant, complex, and centuries ahead of its time, this box is where art meets early engineering brilliance. Although parts of the lockbox have been reconstructed, its incredible design still offers a fascinating glimpse into the technological brilliance and artistic flair of the 12th century Islamic culture, a time when beauty and function worked hand in hand. Jumping back even further in history, we find the mysterious golden hats of the Bronze Age. 4 tall, cone-shaped, intricate intricately decorated artifacts that look straight out of a fantasy movie. Some once thought they were witches' hats, but that's probably not the case. Instead, the symbols etched along their sides seem tied to astronomy and agriculture. It's believed that the people who wore them weren't magicians, but experts, trusted figures who may have predicted the seasons, weather, or even the future. Mysterious? Definitely. Magical? Maybe a little. All four of the mysterious golden hats date back roughly 2,800 to 3,400 years, ancient relics from the Bronze Age that still baffle historians today. Three were unearthed in Germany, and the fourth turned up in France, hinting that these weren't one-of-a-kind creations. Chances are, more of these glittering treasures are still buried out there, waiting to be discovered. Despite being found miles and centuries apart, their design similarities suggest they served the same purpose, though exactly what that was remains a mystery. Were they ceremonial crowns, astronomical calendars? Maybe both. The most famous of the bunch, the Berlin gold hat, is incredibly well preserved and now proudly displayed in Berlin's Neues Museum. Whatever its true function, one thing's certain: these ancient golden masterpieces still leave us spellbound. Archaeologists are used to a little mystery, but when these odd fish-faced sculptures turned up in Serbia in 2019, they were completely stumped, and honestly, they still are. These small stone figures, each with a frown or downturned mouth, are believed to be about 8,000 years old. They were likely crafted by ancient people living along the Danube River near Lepenski Vir, one of Europe's oldest known settlements. The strange part? We have no idea who these people were or what the sculptures meant to them. This era of Serbian history is still mostly a blank page. All we know is that the first settlers arrived about 12,000 years ago, probably farmers migrating from the Near East. Whether these figures were gods, guardians, or something else entirely remains one of archaeology's coolest unsolved puzzles. Some archaeologists even call Lepenski Vir Europe's first city because of how large and complex the settlement once was. As for those eerie stone sculptures, no one's sure what they represent. Some believe they depict river gods, while others think their downcast expressions might symbolize grief or lost loved ones. Whatever the case, they're haunting, mysterious, and oddly human. Now let's shift from mystery to something even more out there: ancient astronaut theory. You either love it or laugh at it. The idea is that beings from outer space, or maybe even time travelers, visited early humans thousands of years ago, leaving traces of their encounters behind. And if you're open to that possibility, you've probably seen the famous cave paintings of Tassili N'Ajjer in Algeria's Sahara Desert, which some believe show ancient humans face-to-face with otherworldly visitors. The cave paintings of Tassili N'Ajjer are mind-blowing, incredibly detailed, undeniably ancient, and strangely futuristic. They seem to show human-like figures wearing what look like helmets, gloves, and full-body suits, almost exactly like modern astronauts. These works of art are at least 10,000 years old, maybe even closer to 15,000, and everything else on the cave walls, animals, rivers, mountains, clearly came from the artist's everyday surroundings. So that raises the big question: if they were only painting what they saw, where did these astronauts come from? Were they symbols, imagination, or something more? Whether you're a believer in ancient alien theories or think it's just a wild coincidence, one thing's for sure: these cave paintings are some of the most mysterious and thought-provoking pieces of prehistoric art ever discovered. Archaeologists can get a little dramatic when describing their finds, but calling the Gwenal lioness one of the ancient world's greatest masterpieces isn't an exaggeration. This stunning sculpture, carved about 5,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, blends human and animal features in a way that feels both fierce and graceful. Created by a highly skilled Elamite artisan whose name, sadly, is lost to history, it reflects a culture already bursting with innovation, written language, the wheel, and thriving cities. The lioness likely symbolized the Elamite belief that true power came from merging human intellect with animal strength. Even thousands of years later, her presence feels timeless, a reminder of humanity's enduring fascination with art, power, and transformation. Despite being made of simple limestone and standing only 3 inches tall, the Gwenal lioness proved just how priceless beauty can be, selling to a private collector for a jaw-dropping $57 million in 2007. Now, shifting from Mesopotamia to South America, Peru is packed with breathtaking archaeological sites, but the tombs of Sipan in Lambayeque deserve a special spotlight, not just for their incredible preservation, but for the wild story behind their discovery. In 1987, a group of tomb raiders stumbled stumbled upon the site, but before they could cash in, they got into such a fierce argument over how to split the loot that the police were called. Enter archaeologist Walter Alva, who stepped in and uncovered one of the greatest archaeological finds in Peruvian history, completely intact and untouched. At the entrance to the tomb, archaeologist Walter Alva discovered the eerie remains of a man seated in a chair, his feet severed. Later studies revealed he was likely a guard meant to protect the tomb's ruler in the afterlife, his feet removed to keep him from ever leaving his post. Beyond him lay the tomb of the Lord of Sipan, buried 1,700 years ago and surrounded by gold and jewels worth millions. It was one of the most extraordinary archaeological finds of the 20th century, rivaled only by King Tut's tomb. Far to the north, in Scotland's Orkney Islands, another ancient mystery awaits, the enigmatic Ring of Brodgar. Not far from the Ring of Brodgar lies another ancient site, the Stones of Stennis, and many believe the two may have once been part of the same mysterious complex. As for what the Ring of Brodgar was actually used for, no one really knows. Historians like to suggest it had some kind of ritual or ceremonial purpose, which usually means they're guessing. Originally, there were about 60 towering stones, but time hasn't been kind. Only 27 remain standing today. Surprisingly, the site hasn't been heavily excavated, mostly because it's tucked away in such a remote corner of the Orkney Islands. One stone even bears a carved cross and the name Bjorn, probably left behind by a bored Viking centuries later. In Lalibela, Ethiopia, you'll find a series of churches unlike anything else on Earth. These incredible structures weren't built. They were carved straight out of solid rock, some even sunk deep underground. The most breathtaking of them all is Beit Georgis, or the Church of St. George. This massive masterpiece was literally sculpted downward into the earth, carved from the inside out, and stands as the centerpiece among 11 interconnected churches linked by tunnels. Built sometime between the 12th and 13th centuries, their creation still leaves historians scratching their heads. How did builders of that era achieve such precision with the tools they had? From above, St. George's roof forms a perfect Greek cross, but the church itself plunges 130 feet down into shadowy, sacred stone. Though it might look otherworldly, the Church of St. George in Lalibela fits perfectly into its surroundings. The town itself feels frozen in time. No electricity, no paved roads, just quiet devotion and centuries-old tradition carved into the earth. Shifting from Africa to the ancient Americas, we find another mystery, the Olmec civilization, one of Mesoamerica's earliest and most influential cultures, thriving between 1500 and 400 BCE. Among their many enigmatic creations are symbols and glyphs that might represent the first known writing system in the Americas. The most exciting discovery is the Cascajal block, a stone slab inscribed with 62 unique characters, unlike anything else found in Mayan or Isthmian scripts. Dated to around 900 BCE, if confirmed as true writing, it could rewrite the history of literacy in the Western Hemisphere. What makes the Cascajal block even more fascinating is that its symbols don't seem connected to any later writing systems, suggesting it might represent an early, standalone script. Scholars are still debating whether the markings found on earlier Olmec monuments and artifacts were actual writing or simply artistic decoration. Other discoveries, like the San Andres glyphs from around 650 BCE, hint that the Olmecs may have been experimenting with writing long before anyone else in the region. Still, no one fully agrees on what these symbols mean. As research continues, each new find adds another piece to the puzzle of how writing first emerged in ancient Mesoamerica. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on new content. I've got plenty more amazing stories and discoveries coming your way, and you definitely don't want to miss them. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Stay curious, stay inspired, and I'll catch you in the next one.